is Kaylee Metz, and this is my informative speech about autism. So, our brains control everything we do, from how we walk to how we talk. But how are our brains affected whenever we have disability? Not only are scientists puzzled by autism, but most of the general public also does not know much about how autism works, or why neurologically diverse people act the way they do. So, learning how these disabilities can work can be beneficial to the public and experts alike. This way, people can help one with autism cope with their disabilities and understand why one acts the way they do. To understand how autism works, one should recognize to understand autism, one should recognize how autism works. For instance, what is autism? What causes autism? And how do neurological or neurotypical and autistic brains differ in appearance? And what are some of the effects that autism has on the brain? So first of all, what is autism? Autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, commonly referred to as autism, is a genetic disorder which can affect one's social ability, such as the ability to communicate. Now, most autistic people can communicate, but they have issues doing it as they don't know how to find the words that they want to say. They also have a hard time understanding nonverbal communication, such as facial expressions and body languages. Autistic people also have have trouble keeping relationships. A lot of autistic people, they can make friendships and stuff, but they have issues keeping it as they do stuff that they don't want to do, which can sometimes affect their relationships. And they also have issues with self-regulation. Now, autism contains a certain set of behaviors, and is also a spectrum disorder. This means that autism affects people in fluctuating degrees. And, for example, one might be bothered by... autism is a spectrum disorder, and it affects everyone differently. Studies have shown that autism spectrum disorder can affect people's senses differently. For example, one might be bothered by bright lights, or by clothing tags, like rubbing against their skin or something like that. And while someone else might be bothered by loud noises. And some children who have ASD cannot eat certain foods because the texture, the color, or the smell might bother them. And this limits what they can and cannot eat. So what are some of the possible causes of autism? Well, we don't really know what causes autism directly. Scientists have made a few possible theories. The most likely theory is that autism runs in the family, or is a genetic disorder. So autism can be passed down to one if somebody has a family member who is autistic. Regular genetic code might have been passed down from parent to child, causing symptoms of ASD in their offspring. And one could also become autistic if their parents are older, whether it is the mother or the father who is older, although autism is more prominent if it is the father who is the elder of the two parents. And some studies have shown that children of older parents have a 50% higher chance of developing autism spectrum disorder than children who have younger parents do. Some theories have even stated that the grandparents of the mother or the father have part of the development of ASD. If one's mother or father is born to elder grandparents, then the mother and father's child has a chance of contracting autism. While genetics is most likely the cause of autism, it also could be from the food that the mother has digested while she was pregnant. Scientists have found traces of PPA, which is propionic acid, which is used to stop the molding of packaged food, meat products such as bread and cheeses. So it has been proven that these chemicals can negatively affect the development and diversity of the neurons in the fetal brain of children with ASD. And although PPA is naturally found in the gut, the amount of PPA may increase in pregnant women, then transmitted to the fetus, which can potentially affect the development of the fetal brain. People with, so with these, with it affecting the brain, people with autism have slightly thicker temporal cortexes, which are responsible for speech and understanding sounds. They also have thicker frontal cortexes, responsible for controlling difficult social and cognitive processes. And internal structures are smaller, such as the amygdala, which controls emotion, and adolescent brains have the thickest frontal cortexes and the thinnest temporal cortexes. These differences have also been found in the corpus callosum, which is a bundle of fibers in the brain. And having a thicker corpus callosum can result in harder living conditions. Now, how does autism affect people? Autistic people tend to experience excessive movement, such as hand clapping or rocking back and forth pacing, or contorting their bodies in unusual ways. Some even have trouble communicating and repeat lines from TV shows and movies. And people with less severe autism can learn, or speak and learn, although they might have trouble expressing emotions, understanding how others feel, reading social skills, such as facial expressions and body language, handling sensory information, such as bright lights, loud noises, etc., or handling a new routine. Some other ways that they're affected is some people with autism have extreme anxiety, and most adults suffer from this when they're in troublesome social situations or in facing change. Over 1/3 of autistic people have anxiety and autism, along with mental breakdowns and shutdowns. Mental breakdowns can include fits of rage, such as kicking, hitting, and even biting. Verbal tics can also be present, such as yelling, shouting, and crying. Shutdowns are assumed to be less intense than breakdowns, but they're just as frustrating. They're more passive than breakdowns. But during a shutdown, one is likely to become quiet or just switch off. So autism is a condition that has puzzled scientists for years, and although we don't have much information about autism, experts have a general understanding of what causes autism and how ASD can affect and shape the brain, and also what it does to one's emotions. Knowing this information can help experts properly diagnose autism and find a cure to help them live an easier life and open more opportunities in their daily routine.